The concept of Eve originated early in the year, probably around January. I was sitting thinking about the upcoming season. I was thinking about absolutely every single fucking little thing that drives me nuts at these shows. And you get to these shows and you go with a big team and there's not enough room for you in the staging areas. So you have to pull yourself away from those staging areas, which means that you're away from the action, you're away from the expediters. It becomes a little more difficult to manage. But then if you use the staging areas, they're splitting you up, guys and girls, and it's just driving me nuts and makes my life much, much more difficult. The whole idea was, how could we make something so that you could see a live feed of the stage from wherever we are in terms of our workstation staging area. And initially people will say, oh well, that's easy, use Wi-Fi or something like that, or FaceTime. It's like it's not that simple because most of the time you don't have the Wi-Fi password to the building you're in, or there just is no Wi-Fi. On top of that, cell data, as you know, it's most of these places are like a black hole. You can barely even put up a Facebook post, all text, never mind transmit live video, 720p, 1080p. It's just not going to happen. Also, the challenge was the idea that you can't just put a big monstrosity in the crowd and then have to run an extension cord and bank on having to have an outlet nearby, and people trip and people complain. So everything we knew going in had to be battery powered, which made things very complicated. And this is exactly the shit that I'm talking about. Means this should be easy, just turned out not to be. I find a compatible USB hub. Of course, the power plug is broken off. So instead of just plugging and playing and things working like they should, I have to fix this, as always. As you can see, I do have patience for the bigger projects. I have a long-term vision. I just don't have any fucking patience for little things that go wrong for no fucking reason. Hopefully that does the trick. Seems a little stable. And it is a W.
Oh no, fuck you. Motherfucker, that's what I did before, you fucking piece of shit. Ugh, now I gotta fix this. What is that?
It's a blue drink. Look, matches. Is it blue here? So I got it. There you go. The LG G5.
She has Apple. Why are you converting her?
It's better.
Don't fucking do that.
It's better.
No, don't do that.
It's a better
No.
camera.
No.
It's a better camera.
No.
By far, it's a better camera.
No.
It is.
No.
I'm telling you,
No.
it is.
I want to hear it.
If we can't get the source to meet the satellite, we need something in the middle, and that's when we started playing around with the idea of using a router as a repeater. And I was on the path of taking the Wi-Fi extenders and implementing them into the system. The only difficulty was that these Wi-Fi extenders are made to plug into the wall.
Alright, so everything will blow some up right now, this is gonna work.
Okay, well, this is done.
Well, look what I got.
That's so cute. Why is
Okay.
it so small?
Will we test anything? I'm gonna let this, if this thing goes on fire while I'm gone,
Throw it out the window?
just pull this out.
Wait. Jesus. Pull what out?
Move that, I'm gonna put this on the stove.
It's not gonna go on fire.
If anything goes on fire,
Yeah.
Oh shit, you didn't use the other thing?
no.
Oh god, it is gonna go on
If
fire.
this thing goes on fire, just pull that out.
No, wait, we can't use yours. It's not ready yet.
I know, but I want to see if it goes on fire.
Pull the USB out of the
Oh,
battery.
we're gonna test mine first then?
Yeah. Should I put it in the oven?
You don't want to get them both, you don't want to get them
Why?
just both done?
Should I put it in the oven?
No, it's fine. It's not gonna go on fire. You don't want to just get them both done?
No, let's do one. Let's see what we got.
Passwords.
And after some modifications, I was able to convert this Netgear range extender from a regular AC outlet to this LiPo battery. Again, it was a tedious project, but it works. Alright, so this would be our case. Bring this. And here we'd have our lock. This would be our mount for our camera here. Keep all this foam in here so nothing gets screwed up. This holds our battery, our router, and also the battery powered Wi-Fi extender. So everything is nice and tight, neat, discreet, smallest possible footprint you can make, all things considered.
Alright, so what is this, like test 4 at the gym? That's gonna go midway through. Alright, so
You could make that shit all the way to fucking over there.
trying to test the range on this thing. This will be our 3rd or 4th try at World Gym. Coming to the gym mostly to not test the overall distance. We do that up my block, weirdos. We're just trying to penetrate all these walls, the mirrors. There's a lot of interference, so this should help. When we first tried it, we couldn't get anywhere because this thing wasn't being utilized properly. Okay. Alright.
This thing is pretty cool though.
What?
It's
The
device.
setup? Yeah. And then we'll go for, I'm gonna have live testing April 30th. Show up at the show. What we did was, instead of trying to penetrate all these walls, we're gonna actually use the extender to bring the signal out. So you basically want to create this cone here, which will hit this cone here, and then you use the satellite to come and directly hit here. So instead of trying to go through the mess of everything, pull the signal out and then try to hit it that way.
Once we got that first extender to work, we learned how to properly use it. The name of the game for me became to immediately get a second extender and begin working on that, so that second extender can piggyback off of the first. Javier felt that it was overkill and I didn't need to do it, but I always like to have that backup plan. I always like to have that, in my repertoire to be able to do that, especially if we were faced with a situation where the distance between the stage and the staging area was that much further, or there was that much more interference, and I needed to play more connected dots when it comes to that signal.
And look what we have here.
Oh my gosh. Another one.
Boom, this one's much stronger. Okay, this is going to be the 4th time I'm trying this, so let's see what we got here. Alright, so we have a successful transmission. Let's make sure. Okay. I need that green light to come on. There it is, nice. Displays. Yes. Okay, here we go. 3rd and final step. Green light.
The best birthday gift I could have got was for this fucking thing to work, and of course the second extender was not cooperating, and I would not rest until I fixed it.
Alright, here we go again. It's a mess here. This one fried. I don't know what the hell happened to it. Thinking it's defective out of the gates, and I just happen to be a victim of circumstance.
I'm not really sure what happened with that second extender. I just know that I couldn't get the feed to run through it. The first extender was working fine, and that's the one that was more of like the prototype. That's the one I just really messed around with and got to work. The second one I took my time with, really knew what I was doing, and for whatever reason it just would not work. It was acting very erratic, and then it eventually overheated and stopped working. I don't know if it's something that was defective out of the factory. I never tested it before I made the modifications, but once it became apparent that it was shot, I ordered another one on Amazon, and once it came, I got right to work trying to...
Yes! Whoo! Alright. After numerous failed attempts on my birthday, which caused me misery, I think everything should be good now. Let's see, let's go to Team SUF1, which is the source, and success, good. Okay, so boom, that's from the source, Team SUF1. So we get out of there, and let's disconnect. Let's hit Team SUF2, which would be extender 1. Yes, and we're in. Just needed a quick little reset. Give me a little bit of a scare, but we're good. Boom. So now we're going to close out of that. Now we're going to disconnect off of there. And we're actually going to connect to here, so hopefully this light pops on. Okay. It's on. Boom. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Today we're going to do a distance test. We're going to see how far we can get this signal to travel using all different types of antennas and the actual extenders now. So we got the case out and ready to go. Javier's going back to the start point. I don't know if you can see him. The signal is okay. You still see movement, good movement on the camera, but then it starts to get a little choppy. Let's see, I don't know if you can see it as a glare. Yeah, it's good. It's a little choppy. Yeah, he's all the way down there. I don't know if you can see him. All right, so test 2 this far. We are a full long block and a good, I don't know, maybe 100 feet into the next block. So this whole distance on the corner house all the way down there. So now we're going to change the router antennas and try again. Test 8 dBi router antennas. We made it an extra, geez, that's gotta be 1, 2, 3. We were at that fire hydrant, if you could see it last time, and now we're up here.
0.2 miles.
So there we go. We're gonna go back and do another test. I can glue this back, right?
Once Eve was working fundamentally, and it was very predictable, and the extenders were working, everything seemed to line up. Now the focus became on making the case as efficient and effective as possible. I wanted everything to fit into the case nice and neat. I wanted to be able to pull everything out of the case and assemble this. I wanted batteries hidden, tucked away, locked away. I wanted to find a way to hide the wires. I also needed to find a way to mount this camera. The camera had to screw onto a tripod, but the tripod couldn't just sit out in the audience and get knocked over. You needed to also have a variable height based on if someone was sitting in front that was, taller. So all these things had to be taken into consideration when actually prepping the Eve case.
So
this goes.
You got the little fucking tape?
Yeah, upstairs. You need it?
I need two-sided tape.
What do you need? That's not bad. That gives us pretty good height off the chair, and then this can. How do I do this? This goes in. Right? Yeah, this can go down. So this is it. This is it at its lowest profile, with the smaller tube. If we need even more length, we use this tube. But how's that look? I mean, it'll look better with your sticker on it, but now we got something. I also needed to make sure that the case had a nameplate on it that said Sci-Unison Fitness, because my goal is to always get in there early, pick the seat that I want, and use a lock to lock it to the chair. So if there's a case in there locked to a chair, I don't feel like anyone calling up and saying there's a fucking bomb in the building.
Bingo! How you doing?
I've been working with the extenders so much that I wanted to take things a step further. With one of the extenders, my goal was to actually change the antennas. I'm sitting there and I start to smell something burning, and I immediately panicked and thought that the burning smell was related to something that I did in the house, that there happened to be a major fire somewhere in the area. But you know, looking back on this video, it actually was pretty funny. It's ugly, but it's just a test. I didn't feel like putting those antennas on there. Let's see what this can do. Started playing around with these extenders. I pulled the thing apart. I don't want to use these snap-on antennas. I want to be able to make certain modifications. These I'm actually going to keep because these ones are really hard to beat. But these ones that came with this weren't the best. So I started pulling some of the stuff apart. So I was able to customize this extender. One painted black. I left the front face unpainted because the next step would be to replace this with my own custom thing. Of course, Javier helped me out with that. Yeah, so now, again, don't mind the double battery here. One of the batteries took a shit. Waiting for a new one. Right here, this extender here, the antennas are actually mounted in there. You can't do nothing with them. With this conversion here, I'm able to, I wired in different antennas, and now I'm able to screw on and off and change the, the DBI rating. I can go with a smaller antenna. I can even go with a larger antenna, like the one seen here. I got a new fancy one too. What the fuck did I put? Oh, here we go. I can even do things like this. Mount this on here. So I'll cut down on some space too. I won't have to worry about the antennas being folded in the case. And this is where we're at now. So the next step would be to get that face put on, like a custom face put on there. So we'll see. That's next. First, I'm going to try a direct home run without using extenders, right? This was a day I was waiting for a while. I was very nervous going in. This was, no matter what I did at home, testing the distance up the block, testing it at World Gym, nothing could replace the idea of a live testing at a show. So going to the Northeast America, Karen and Anthony Minetti's show, and being able to test this and run through the building and work out the kinks, this was a very important day. I don't know if it was pressing it. You can stop.
1 testing went real well. The extenders performed just as I thought they would. The satellite was very strong on the laptop end, and I was able to see a live feed of the show. So, on the right track here,
These custom faces for these bad boys. Vinyl you up, as always, hooking me up. Black and the whites. Hi, my name is Eve. So now these things are ready to go. Tried at the first show season, first big show season, June 4th, Northeast Classic, WMBF. This one's nice. This is the other one, black, custom fitting. So now I can put my own antennas on there instead of having these stock ones, which are still really good though. I could, as you can see here, screw on my own size antenna. Boom. So I can change the dBi rating on these things. So pretty cool, but I really like the stickers. Alright, so I'm going to transfer cases. Had this smaller case. I think I'll have to look for the bigger case here. And this gives me more room to organize stuff a little better. But I also want to try to find a way to hide these wires. So that should be interesting. Right at the end, right when everything was pretty much coming together and finished, the idea came to switch the cases. We bought the first case, so it was nice, small, compact, but that was based on the initial design. As I started, building the extenders, then I had the second extender, backup batteries, all the different dBi antennas. That smaller case became a little limiting, so I got the other case, had to take everything off the old case and transfer it onto the new case. Javier was he thought that was pretty funny. Okay, so I got this wire hidden, ran it through the tube. I'm gonna have to notch the tube to hide the wire to this the router, but this is a pretty good setup here. Feeling good right now, feeling good. And finally, after all the hard work, it was finally time to debut the Eve project at the 2016 WMBF Northeast Classic. Eve worked very well at the Northeast Classic, but Fulton's show and the layout of the building presented some new challenges. Plus, I also learned to add the speaker system so the audio feed would come through better. Gave us an added advantage.
Somebody thinking at the top was just like, girl, where'd you get that tater from? That looks nice. You're going on and on.
And last but not least was the Hercules. At first it gave me a little bit of a worry because I didn't know where our team would have our setup, but through the use of the extenders and the satellite we were able to make it work and things went well. At the Herc, I was able to get this video where, you can actually see step by step, how I take Eve, the components out of the case and assemble it and get it ready for the day. So this was a nice look into that. I didn't have that opportunity at Northeast Classic because we had the pro class running right into the amateurs. And at Fulton, just no one else was around. They were setting up the, help setting up the backstage area. So I made sure at the Herc I got this footage.
This right here is Leroy. We got the feed set up, and I wanted to test it. So you got to test. You know, you don't want any like glitches. You don't want things to look choppy. So while everyone was setting up, we had Leroy walk back and forth on stage, and until I got the signals right and got the antennas positioned correctly. But once I got it done correctly, we made sure. I mean, we don't have the full video, but we made sure Leroy walked back and forth at least another 7 or 8 times. We had him pose on stage while there were people on stage, like the staff of the WNBF. They're setting up and they're just looking at this guy walk back and forth, pretty much like doing all sorts of weird shit. So it was a good time. I know the video's long, real fucking long, but as long as the video is, it pales in comparison to the time, the effort that went into this project. It took a lot to get this down to the 25 minutes, 26, whatever it is. I had so much footage, there was so much work, there's so much testing, there was so much stuff that couldn't even make it onto this video. The purpose behind this video, it's to show behind the scenes basically how hard I work, how hard the people around me work, how hard the team works. And I always say, you know, to my competitors, I say it to my clients, the harder you work, the harder I'm going to work. And I'm not outworked. So as the team continues to grow, as you know, there's hype behind the team, I'm going to make sure that I do everything in my power to live up to that hype and those expectations and outperform, overperform anything that's expected of me. And you know, these things are not built to show off because I can see how they can be, you know, perceived that way. These things are genuinely made and worked on, invested in, because I know it could make me more efficient as a coach, which makes the team perform better. It makes the competitors feel better, more at ease, and it ultimately makes my job easier. These things, you know, this is only one of the major projects from 2016. There'll be other videos to come, but these things are what, you know, I term as force multipliers. They enable me to do more, provide more, cover more bases. We always know what's going on. These first 3 shows of 2016 were the best for me, and the team and the staff, like all across the board. Like, we were a well-oiled machine. And I know people have been together for a while, so you get in a groove, and people, you know, we have veterans on the team as competitors, we have veterans on the team as staff. I feel like I'm getting even better too, but these force multipliers are definitely a big part of it. So my message is, don't always judge, you know, this team or me by, you know, just regular bullshit that you see. This video is to show like how hard we work, how hard I work, and how much I want it, and how much I want to be the absolute best and provide the best, and how I want each and every one of my competitors to be the best that they can possibly be. So, like I said, I know it's a long video. I hope that some of you take the time to watch this through, because, like I said, you know, while you're prepping, or while you're thinking of joining or signing up, or while you see this or that going on social media, rest assured that I'm always working.